Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jayzon, and today we've got a Division C West match, a matchup right out of our own division, Rabid, Artemis versus Fountain Snipers. Now, of course, this is not our first encounter with Fountain Snipers. Over on Regen Reborn, we had this team in week number 1. And Artemis, they've been around for quite a while, so it could be an interesting matchup between these two teams, but how are you doing, Rabbit? You looking forward to this one?
Yeah, it should be exciting. It's always fun, kind of a bonus to be able to watch teams within our own division. It's fun to cast, and then also we get to see a little bit of a preview of what we might expect throughout the rest of the season, or just kind of have more of a sense of getting to know the players, a little bit more camaraderie within the division and all that. So
Hashtag free scouting. Let's go. All right, for the map picks, we did have our Fountain Snipers winning the toss and taking first pick, first ban. Artemis banning out Dragonshire and Infernal Shrines. Fountain Snipers banning out Garden of Terror and Sky Temple. And Artemis then taking us to Towers of Doom for game 1. I already said I was ready. Honestly. I always can't help but make jokes when I've got honestly in the match.
New follower detected.
Ooh. Thank you very much for the follow. Oh, it's Kala. How's it going? And Kala might be joining me for a cast later this week.
nice.
But here we go. Game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Fountain Sniper's logo is going to have to just calm down a little bit.
Causing problems.
They just got a huge logo.
Okay, gotcha.
That's all right.
Fair. Big real estate.
Yeah, I mean, you need a lot of room to snipe those fountains.
New follower detected.
Some deliberation on first ban here.
Yeah. Definitely not coming out of the gate here for Fountain Snipers, knowing exactly what they wanted. Got a sick. Thank you very much for the follow as well. And yeah, there's the Vala ban. No big shocker there. Vala, very good AA hero right now. Really near the top of the meta as far as heroes go. So not surprised to see her tossed out early.
Yeah, Fountain Snipers does have first pick though, so I guess that would at least tell us they're not interested in playing a Vala-based comp. Chromie ban, not particularly surprising against Fountain Snipers. I think that when we did our homework in preparation for our match, that was something that we noticed was a pattern in their history, and it looks like Artemis has chosen to continue with that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of follow the leader kind of thing there. Stitches going to be banned out for the side of Fountain Snipers, so not wanting to see that kidnap comp that can be so popular here on Towers.
Yep, with kind of the location of the keeps, it can make it pretty easy for Stitches to have a building to retreat to with a gorge captive. And since you can actually take your buildings back on this map compared to a lot of other ones where once the building is down, Stitches can't use that as his base anymore, it kind of makes a big difference on Towers of Doom with that mechanic.
Well, plus if he ever hook gorges you into the death zone, well, sayonara.
Yeah, it's a little bit more challenging to escape from.
Meanwhile, Stukov going to be banned out, and that's going to prompt the Johanna pickup right away. And I like that call from the side of Fountain Snipers. I mean, Stukov, one of the big counters to Johanna, is silence is really the biggest, one of the biggest at least, counters to that Johanna.
Yeah, it does make it a little bit stronger. We'll see kind of what else comes out in response to that. So far we have an Anduin, pretty good generalist healer, and then Sylvanas, also a good generalist DPS, and has access to silence herself if they opt to go into that.
Yeah,
I guess
both of
mine
her
is
ults kind of do that. But her real strength is in being able to turn off these bell towers for conversion. I mean, throughout the game, constantly got to keep track of where Sylvanas is and trying to keep the enemy team away from sniping away your bell towers. But you know, there's Leo, the first of what I'm sure is going to be two double soaking bruiser picks in this matchup. But Fountain Snipers wanting to get their choice of those options before the next ban phase.
Yep, definitely a smart call there, I think. A lot of the top offlaners can be heavily contested, especially on this map, so locking in your choice while you still have the option to, I think, makes sense. And then Junkrat, another great DPS as well, good damage, and then also a lot of CC and displacement options as well with his kit.
Yeah, Junkrat just overall very difficult to deal with here. It's annoying how easy access he has to being able to interrupt on these altars. Mephisto and Brightwing gonna round out the bans for this game #1 draft. And no big shocker there. Mephisto very difficult to deal with, kind of for the same reason as Junkrat, how he can safely jump in, get an interrupt, try to put pressure on the back line, and just the dive potential he puts in against a low health hero like Junkrat really warrants that ban.
Will forge a great destiny.
Yeah, and at least right now, the side of Fountain Snipers don't really have any good tools to deal with the Mephisto, so I agree with that ban makes a lot of sense. Varian Malthael, though, coming up from the side of Artemis, so some good single target CC as well as potentially some finishing power there with the last rites.
Yeah, they got themselves the whole Rin family over there, but Lompico going to grab up the Asmodan, and Rhaegar are going to close out as the healer option for the side of Fountain Snipers, leaving just this last pickup. Most likely a damage dealer, so who's going to be the big carry here over on the side of Artemis?
Yeah, there's a lot of different directions they could go. Malthael's doesn't really have any CC in his kit, and Varian just has kind of the one stun, so something with some CC could be helpful. Jaina does bring that option, either through Ring of Frost or the root at level 16, and also a lot of good burst damage as well to dump on whoever Varian taunts.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard CC, but the slows can definitely help you if you're trying to escape or chase, so definitely some peel potential there from 7. Just out of the basic slowing in the kit. I really like Artemis's draft here. I think both drafts definitely have potential, but I feel like the Varian combo with Taunt after 4 could lead to some good picks if they can execute on this.
Yeah, they'll definitely have the advantage early game in between kind of levels 4 through 10. So it'll be on Artemis to really capitalize on that advantage and put some pressure on Fountain Snipers early. I think if they aren't able to find that pressure and really capitalize on that advantage, then Fountain Snipers has a lot of late game scaling heroes in Leoric and Asmodan, and I think their macro ability just in general is stronger with wave clear on pretty much every hero.
Prepare yourself for battle, heroes.
Alrighty, well, let's get into game #1 here on Towers of Doom. Let's see. On the left, we've got Artemis. We've got Honestly playing the variant. 7 on the Jaina. Ashka on the Malthael. We've got Neo going to be playing the Sylvanas, and Rabid Squirks going to be on the Anduin.
Alright, and for Fountain Snipers on the right-hand side, we have Mosley on the Leoric, Silver Jackal on the Junkrat, Rusty on the Rhaegar, Arco on the Johanna, and Lompico rounding it out with Azmodan.
And not for nothing, Rabid, but Lompico just started off this game with 24 stacks from that first orb.
Yeah, solid dunk, solid dunk.
And here comes another one. Big dunk in. And boom, 32, just like that. Got all 8 stacks. And clearly, that the side of Fountain Snipers have a plan here for how they want to build up this comp.
Yeah, well, they basically have the ability to nuke any wave. I mean, between Johanna, the Lightning Shield, Junkrat damage, and then the Asmo Dunk on top of that, they should be pretty much obliterating any wave in seconds here.
And they're even being patient, waiting for the dunk to come in before they clear. Artemis is going to go ahead and get started on their camp a little bit quicker, so they're going to have this done faster. The question is, do you rotate here? Probably not with a pre-level 4 variant.
Yeah, I think it would be an aggressive call for sure, and hard to say if they would have much of an advantage there. It probably depends on how the offlaners are positioned as well. For example, right now Leoric's a little bit closer and has that rotational advantage, so not surprising to see them just kind of play it safe and wait for that level 4 to come in.
Yeah, they're getting very close to that level 4 here as they're going to get started on trying to clear these sappers. Dunk hits 2 on the back line. Arco getting pretty low here as Honestly does manage to get his level 4, and Taunt is now available, Rabid.
Yeah, I would expect to see Artemis get a little bit more aggressive here with that option, either just kind of looking for picks here in the bot lane or possibly even rotating up on that Leoric, depending on the opportunity they have.
For right now, not too many fireworks going on, and we're actually going to see Lompico running up to mid, getting some stacks from that mid lane as Majesty clears out the rest of that wave and heads on up top.
Be ready. You must
Yeah, and I don't know if Artemis is really going to have much of an opportunity to use that variant. It looks like Fountain Snipers, perhaps wisely, is just kind of turtling up at their base and clearing the wave and backing it on up, sort of giving them the space there that, maybe they're just kind of looking to avoid any possibility of early picks with that variant.
Yeah, both teams dealing out some poke damage. Does look like up top, we're going to see the Malthael getting a little aggressive, rotating over to the right, trying to deny that initial pickup. But both teams, for now, just kind of content to hang around and and nobody's capping anything right now, Rabbit.
Yeah, we're just kind of having a stare down on both sides here. But that's the
I want to be
Iron
like,
Skin
guys,
Johanna.
guys,
The taunt comes out immediately afterwards, and that's the end of Johanna for the side of Fountain Snipers. They're going to have to give bottom, I would imagine, maybe poke it out a little bit here with the Asmo, but without their tank, their ability to interrupt is severely reduced.
Yeah, the taunt is now back up. So Silver Jackal being a little bit careful, but Majesty not winning this one up top. We are going to see Lompico rotating up, but Leoric ends up falling to that fadeaway damage. But honestly, charging in is going to hit the taunt. The damage is coming out on a Lompico, but the rotation is up from the bot lane. And honestly, actually gets booped over the wall by that concussion mine, and now is in no man's land back here.
Yeah, it looks like Malthael did back up to cap the side for Artemis. Safe side, at least. And with Varian getting booped over there, they're going to have to give up the contestation over that right side altar.
Yeah, still, even with that pick onto the Varian, it is a 2-for-1 exchange overall in that phase, and Artemis gets themselves 2 of those 3 altars to give themselves a 4-point lead here, starting off the match.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, and I think we have yet to see a team that plays for that aggressive play up top, going for their opponent's channel and successfully converting it, at least this season. So I think after getting that Leoric kill, I probably would have maybe just taken the win, the XP from that, and backed off and just capped safe side. But
Yeah, you know, it's always okay to leave some people around to interrupt and deny that and stall it out for as long as possible so you can, you know, maybe rotate quicker and get an advantage elsewhere. But I think you're right. Hard committing to that is really rough, you know. And I personally would have never saw that Junkrat concussion mine coming either. So I don't blame Artemis. You know, honestly, I really don't.
Yeah, they can kind of sneak up on you. Well-placed Junkrat mine can be really impactful in just about any team fight, and especially in those situations where you're so close to the enemy buildings. You know, one wrong step essentially can put you in a rough position. But we got a balanced altar spawn here in the top, one left, one right. Normally we see these just kind of traded out for the similar reasons that we just talked about. We'll see if either team decides they want to play this a little bit more aggressively.
Well, level 10s are in for the side of Artemis, so I feel like they could try to make this aggressive rotation if they wanted to, but Rusty gets on that cap immediately and is able to complete it, so this is just going to end up being a trade here, Rabid.
Yeah, you know, I think they could have looked for a pick, maybe a kill or two off of that, but again, I think maybe hard committing to the idea of getting the channel on that is potentially a lost cause, but they did look a little indecisive there in that fight, maybe not sure if they wanted a repeat situation of the Varian displacement or kind of what to do with that level 10 advantage. So looks like they'll take the boss though.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. Typically the boss not heavily prioritized on this map for this exact reason, is now you got down bot. Fountain snipers, not just sniping the fountain, instead just getting the whole wall here. And in come the heroics. Ring only finding one target. Ancestral comes out to keep Silver Jackal alive, and both these teams gonna walk away from this engage for now.
Essentially a re-engage though. Malthael's rotated in, Leoric is topside, so Artemis does have a 5v4 advantage for the time being, but a little bit lower health bars overall compared to Fountain Snipers. Yeah,
and finding it difficult to commit here through these Junkrat mines, and a lot of the damage is just kind of zoning off the members of Artemis, but Malthael did rotate back down, so definitely losing some XP up in the top right now for the side of Artemis, but they do still have a slight XP lead here. They had a little bit of house money to gamble on that gank attempt there.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. Respect looking for it and try to make a play, but sometimes it's just not there, and it's okay to walk away.
Yeah, we do have all 5 down in the bot side, but this great zoning there from Fountain Snipers. They're able to keep them off of Silver Jackal. He gets the cap completed, and now the side of Fountain Snipers being the aggressors is honestly going to be concussion mine back to the backside again, and for the second time Varian ends up going down, but look at the counter engage coming in. Huge light bomb gonna pick off 2, and they are still on the chase, but Silver Jackal throws out the big Riptire to zone, and that's gonna be an effective way to peel for Fountain Snipers to keep this at a 2-1 exchange.
Yeah, nothing scarier than a point blank Riptire to the face.
You're like, no. We didn't get a chance to talk about these level 10s either. We're all the way to level 13 now for Artemis, but let's take a look while we got a slight lull here. We got, we do indeed have that Ring of Frost along with the Mind Control, the Light Bomb, Last Rites, and we saw the taunt earlier from Varian, but he's going to go parry here at the level 10. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got Riptire, Blessed Shield, Black Hole, or not Black Hole, Tide of Sin, the Entomb, and the Ancestral Healing.
Mind Control on the Rhaegar, but Blessed Shield is there to peel. Light Bomb coming out, though, for the counter engage.
Leo goes down in the top lane.
Kills.
Like Last Rites was used there.
Good pickup by the Malthael. Leoric still holding his level 13, hasn't committed to a 13-16 build quite yet.
Honestly, getting super low, but Rhaegar maybe committing a little bit too far. That Ancestral didn't quite come out in time, so it's not going to go on full cooldown. He'll have it when he comes back up. But first, he's going to have to spawn out of the Hall of Storms, and without Rhaegar, Fountain Sniper is just going to look to poke this one out for them.
Yeah, one stall with the Asmodan. Johanna gets taunted though, and the Shield Breaker immediately eats her Iron Skin, but is able to still walk away.
Enough of this charade.
Or Shattering Throw, I should say.
Yeah, 16 coming online a little quicker here for Artemis. They're about a level ahead right now in the soak game. 6-2 on the kill counter, but really what matters here, Rabbit, the core points. 28-20 as Artemis holding that 8-point lead steadfastly that they've had for a good portion of the game now.
Big rotation though on this camp. Malthael's all the way top right now, and Varian's running low on health, but is able to buy some time with that parry.
Yeah, the parry into the light bomb, keeping Honestly alive, gets yet another unkillable there. That protection just completely OP. But once again, Silver Jackal coming out with the Riptire, and just like that, Artemis scatters.
Great zoning over this.
Just
need somebody to right click.
I almost wonder if Artemis knows they can kill the Riptire at this point. Just kind of sitting there dancing with it.
Oh, Sylvanas a little too far up, ends up going down, as does this keep with the help of that camp.
Yeah, and they still got 3 of these sappers hanging out here as the charge in on Honestly from Rusty. And they're trying to push this in. They've got a 4 for 3. Protection comes out, but the concussion mine booping Honestly back in. That's been his experience from early in this game. Now we are going to see a shot going over and getting one of those from Fountain Snipers as they're getting back into this one just in the nick of time as the triple altar spawns.
Yep. As far as the tower shots go, they'll end up converting, it looks like 10, if I did my math right on that.
Yeah, 10 to 3.
With that pick up there in the bottom. So evens up our score, 17-17.
There you go. Level 16s for both squads now. Very, very even on the XP. Silver Jackal still looking for those cheeky concussion mine displacements, and just barely missing it there on Neo. But look at this rotation here. We've got Rusty and Arco just waiting for anybody to walk in. Honestly, going to go ahead and take that ticket. And big globe into the Riptire on the backside, and all of a sudden Artemis is turning around because they got no health left on that backside now. Oh,
yeah,
the
Marion
dog.
can get out. It'll be a miracle that all 5 of them survive. Malthael trying to pick up the kill on the Rhaegar, but doesn't quite get it with the Ancestral coming in.
Yeah, minor miracle there. That's the definition of split damage. You know, and that's not a knock. You know, it's not so much that they didn't focus fire their Rabbit. It's just that's the nature of the damage of Fountain Sniper's comp. But you know, that was
down range and hope for the best.
Yeah, send it all down. I mean, these at this point, these are basically nukes. So you've got almost 400 stacks on Lompico at this point. So he's hitting like a truck with every single one of these globes that land.
Yeah, and the Junkrat damage coming in between too is kind of adding up as well on top of those big Riptires that we've seen.
Yeah, very difficult to siege into this comp. So I'm not quite sure if Artemis is ever realistically going to be able to get this bottom bell tower back. Big damage from the Riptire onto Neo. He does manage to just juke the concussion mine there. Jumps back over the wall. Going to have to come in from the top. Meanwhile, taunt onto Arco as the members of Artemis are chasing down on the backside. And that last rites is going to be enough to pick off Johanna as the first kill in this team fight. We do have Malthael trying to dive on the backside, getting a little bit low, gets concussion mined. Going to go back up to the top to see if he can cap this mid-altar. Going to have to walk away from the Tide of Sin. And Majesty still trying to zone up here. Meanwhile, down on the bot side, we've got all kinds of action going on here. Is honestly going to hit the taunt onto the Asmodan. Ring of Frost not quite finding the mark on anybody. But we do have the beam coming out from Lompico. And Malthael maybe diving in a little bit too far, but there's the Ancestral. The Light Bomb comes out as Honestly's getting very low. Gets pulled right into the orb from Lampico. He ends up going down. And that is going to be a cap on the bot side for Fountain Snipers after Artemis got it up on the top.
Yeah, and they still don't have a keep to retreat to here. They did not take back this bottom bell tower, so they're kind of in enemy territory all over this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, 7 is not going to make it out of this one, and yeah, that was a rough ask for Artemis to walk down into there, and they really, that was an all or nothing kind of play. They had to win that, or you're right, they had nowhere to retreat to. So they just once they started losing that, they really started losing that.
Yeah, I was impressed that they were able to cap that middle one. Their team was really split to begin with, but they were able to kind of eventually make it all into that central area and win that part of the team fight against Fountain Snipers. But then it seemed like maybe they just didn't have enough, health or resources in general to kind of close it out on that bottom one.
Gonna be another boss capped for Fountain Snipers. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. The last one was capped by Artemis. Fountain Snipers gets this one time around. But Artemis is finally going to be able to cap this bell tower back. I feel like it's been owned by Fountain Snipers longer than Artemis has had at this game so far.
You're probably right, and I'm a little surprised at the boss call there for that reason. I think, it would have been quite easy for them to keep that bell tower between, Azmodan, Johanna, Junkrat. Any one of them potentially could have just insta-cleared the waves that were coming in, making it much harder for Artemis to take that back. But it's evened up now, and so they will have much better positioning for these next couple fights.
Yeah, meanwhile, double altar spawn here on the bot side of the map. So this is the first opportunity for Fountain Snipers to potentially finish the game here. But there is the concussion mine to disrupt that taunt and immediate kill attempt. Majesty actually caps up on the top side, and there is the stall onto 7 on the backside. So down to 3, and now this is all or nothing for Artemis. They've got all their chips on the table. Can they stay in this game? Malthael, the first to fall, he does have the ability to come back, but the big globe comes in, and that's going to be a triple kill, make it a quad kill, and actually a quintuple kill, because Malthael coming back. But that is going to be the end of this one, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1, going over to Fountain Snipers here on Towers of Doom.
Well played.
Yeah, huge finale there. I'm a little surprised that they were able to cap both of those. But I mean, they just had so much poke and so much interrupt potential for these altars. It seemed like it was tough for Artemis to get any of these quick caps for anything that was even remotely contested.
Yeah, they were definitely outranged. So when it came to stalling or being able to cap, I think they were at a disadvantage there. And then it seemed like they, especially later into the game, kind of struggled to find some decisive engages with the Varian and kind of capitalize on those taunts. I think the last couple of team fights, even if it was on the Junkrat or kind of one of the lower health heroes, we didn't see them go down to that initial engage with the taunt, and usually the light bomb as well. And so it's a lot of resources invested to then kind of just wait for those to come back while you're eating all of the orbs and Junkrat damage and whatnot.
Yeah, so if you had to pick an MVP in this game, number 1, Rabid. Any thoughts?
I think Silver Jackal on the Junkrat looked really good. Just the displacement and the chaos with his abilities, and then top damage 81,000, pretty impressive, beating out the Azmodan, and also pretty significant increase above Sylvanas and Jaina on Artemis as well. So I I think that would be my pick for this game.
All right. Well, while we go ahead and set up for a game number 2, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the draft in just a moment. right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 of this best of 3 series out of the Division C West. We've got Tomb of the Spider Queen for you all. Artemis selecting first pick, and Fountain Snipers taking us to one of my favorite maps here in NGS. What do you think of this map, Rabbit?
It's pretty good. The objective is interesting in that you carry it on you, as opposed to kind of it being a central point that you fight over. And you don't really have to team fight necessarily over the objective to get the turn-ins. It's a little bit more stealthy, so I think it's got some interesting map mechanics that aren't easily mimicked on some of the other battlegrounds.
Yeah, it takes us back to the old days of Blackheart's Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did this map a little better, though, to be honest. Makes sense. Blackhearts didn't quite survive the culling of maps.
Blackheart's tomb.
I gotta get those doubloons. I mean gems. Doubloons, by the way, actually are where the from Blackheart's Bay. That's where I get my channel points. It's doubloon.
Nice.
But, we are going to see similar bans to last game. So far, 3 out of 4 of the first bans that we got last time around. Might we see the Johanna, though? Yep, that is how it's going to be for Fountain Snipers. If we can't have it, nobody can.
Yeah, that's fair. She's definitely quite a bit stronger on this map compared to some other ones, just having that built-in wave clear and the rotational advantage you can get on Tomb, since top and mid are so close together. Having a tank with wave clear really facilitates those rotations, and she's just kind of a safe pick in general right now, obviously. So,
Rabid Squirrel's gonna get his hands on the Anduin once again, taking another leap of faith.
yeah, it definitely makes it harder for any comp that's centered around engaging on one particular target, especially if it's a long cooldown. So we'll see if they draft something to kind of either threaten that pull on a shorter time frame, or if they go into more of like a multi-stun setup.
Wow, Silver Jackal bringing the Junkrat back out. And makes sense. MVP from last game. Might as well repeat it here on a map where Junkrat is also quite valuable.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Easily clears waves, so again, a lot of value on this map. The traps and the concussion mine can sort of ward and scout those rotations as well, so it makes it a lot easier to keep an eye on the enemy team, in addition to causing that disruption.
Well, Stitches and Tahaka picked up here, so we've got a hook and a drag. Very similar mechanics out of this front line.
Yeah, every one of their heroes can pull someone.
It's pole themed. Okay, what else can we do
Pole
here?
party.
Aha! That was definitely one of my favorite brawls back in the day, though.
Oh, that one was the best.
That one was awesome. Ugh! And when 2 people would hit it, it tears the Stitches in half. It's great.
I don't remember that, but that sounds...
I mean, it didn't visually do it, but if 2 people from your team hit hooks on the same person, it would kill them. But if somebody on the other team hit one of your guys with a hook and then you hit him with a hook, it saved them. But they still went back to the Halls of Storm. Like, I don't know, it's confusing.
Sure. you can't always guarantee what the rules of Pull Party will be.
Right. But it's great. That's the bottom line. It was amazing. Anyway, back to the bans here. We've got Mephisto and a Nubarak thrown out.
Yeah, Nubarak makes sense. Cocoon being an easy way to save someone if they get gorged. Gorge and then the Anduin pull can be an easy way to separate a particular team member from the rest of their friendly team. So it seems like Artemis is really building into that potential win condition, or one method to at least win the team fights.
Yeah, Kala asking where's the Junkrat ban, and I agree. But they prioritized the Stukov and didn't seem to want to steal it, so see if it works out for him. Meanwhile, Raynor and Falstad going to be the pickups here for the side of Artemis, and Leo and Tychus picked up for the side of Fountain Snipers with 1 pick left.
Yeah,
They gotta
heavy
get their
percent
tank.
damage into that Stitches and Dahaka. They need a tank. I think any tank that has low cooldown stun or even displacement like the Garrosh could be helpful. Gonna go with the Diablo though, who has a little bit of both.
Yeah. Why choose when you can just get them all in one?
Diablo, he's the complete package.
Last pick Deathwing. That Phantom's trolling again.
He's not wrong. I mean, he's kind of immune to everything that Artemis is trying to do, but
That's fair. I mean, Raynor and Falstad, I feel like, would eat him alive, though.
potentially. Hopefully the rest of Fountain Snipers would do something to dissuade them a little bit, but
Yeah,
right-click heroes definitely can be a pesky annoyance to the god Deathwing.
that's true. None more than Lunara, by the way. Lunara just puts those 3 stacks and then just laughs as she hops away, and Deathwing can't do anything about it. Like, what's the biggest counter to Lunara is sustained healing. Which one hero in the game can't be healed?
Is it Deathwing?
There is. Just making sure you're paying attention, Rabbit. All right, let's get into game number 2. On the left, we've got Artemis. We've got Rabid Squirrels going to be playing the Anduin. We've got Honestly having a little pool party all by himself on that Stitches. We've got 7 on the Falstad. Ashcan going to be on the Dahaka. And we've got Neo on the Raynor.
And on the right side, Fountain Snipers has Silver Jackal on the Junkrat, Mosley on the Leoric, Arco on the Diablo, Lampico on the Tychus, and Rusty rounding it out with Brightwing. Hinterlands has been called in the chat, by the way. I'm going to guess it's going to be Gust for further separation with the Gorge target, but we'll see. Always fun to see a Hinterlands, even if it's not the meta pick.
Anything can happen in the tomb. I don't know, we'll see. Immediately, both teams clearing out here in the mid. And already Silver Jackal just trolling with these concussion mines. Honestly, must be getting tired of that.
Yeah. Cue the Harry Potter meme about asking permission.
Huh. Yeah. Already getting the pull out from Rabid. That's a big cooldown already down, but did keep Honestly above half health there.
Yeah, a little bit of rotation advantage already for the side of Fountain Snipers. I think mostly off the back of the Junkrat here, and then the kind of aggressive CC as well from the Diablo.
Ashcan actually coming up to the mid to visit a little bit. Giving Majesty
Early
down
Bruiser
all by
on the
himself.
side of Artemis.
Yeah. Trying to get a leg up in the macro game. Fountain Sniper's going to take advantage of this opportunity to slam in some of their gems.
And the early Bruiser is a bit of an interesting call for me because it looks like we have stacking heroes both in Falstad and Raynor. So they kind of want to be skirmishing and hitting enemy heroes as often as possible. And right now they're not having a lot of opportunity to do that.
Well, I like the misdirection, though. They get that camp out early so that Fountain Snipers are busy clearing it in mid while they rush to bot. Pick that up before Fountain Snipers has any chance to really scout it out or respond.
Yeah, definitely some solid macro plays. It does leave Stitches to kind of solo soak top and mid for a bit by himself, which is always one of the most fun jobs as a tank. But he's been doing a fine job of it. He's a big boy.
Well, I mean, Stitches is one of those tanks that could moonlight as a solo laner if he really wanted to. He's got decent wave clear. He can handle it.
That's true.
Ash
He's
can
gonna wave clear as a side hobby.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you don't see him in solo lane games very often, but it is possible. It's one of those things where
on the Dahaka and the pole gets them out of there.
And that's the second time here in the mid he's gone after Dahaka. The first time he got the dig. Second time he got the leap of faith. What's going to happen the third time? Friendly hook?
We got options.
We got friends.
We do have the bigger they are on Tychus, which I think is an interesting pickup. Definitely makes it easier to put in that initial damage. You don't have to stand still for quite as long to get a good amount of damage out in the initial part of the team fight, but it can make securing some of those kills a little bit more difficult on the big guys like Stitches or Dahaka. So I'm curious if they have maybe another plan to finish off those kills, or if they're just more worried about getting some of that initial damage out and kind of counting on their tanks or Leoric to really round out the damage to finish the team fight.
Big rotation down to the bot side by Fountain Snipers to get that turn in, and now they've made their way all the way to the top lane as they are pushing what most perceive as the priority lane here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Definitely houses the boss up there. Hook onto Lampico. Damage follow-up coming in, but Rusty going to go ahead and teleport to get that extra healing out. That is the second time that's happened here recently. The hook's starting to land. Let's see if Artemis can make him stick, though.
Yep, I think just a little bit more consistent follow-up the Anduin route might have secured that one, and we'll see if they can look for another pick here in between the Brightwing heal cooldown.
A lot of canceling going on there. First the hook misses, then Arco with the flip and about to charge, but then Neo steps up with the penetrating round to knock Arco to the other side.
Yeah, there's a lot of tools on both sides to make heroes kind of move in funny directions, so.
It's going to be organized chaos this whole game, I feel like.
Good penetrating round there from the Raynor to knock the Diablo back.
Definitely a fun ability to say. So thanks, Neo, for picking Raynor. Top 7. Getting the clear. Trying to stay safe. There is the flip onto Honestly, though, going to force the leap of faith. As, yeah, that bigger they all are was definitely on from Lampico, and he was falling fast.
Yeah, it did not look like they would have any problem finishing out that kill had he not been pulled. So it looks like that that talent was definitely the right choice for them. Great knockback on the Diablo engage again.
Yeah, that charge keeps coming, and Neo just keeps knocking him back and just saying, no thanks, sir. Not this time. Lampico gets hooked, but then Honestly gets thrown around, and back and forth they go on these engages, but nobody really finding any kills. It's still 0-0 on the kill counter. We are 6.5 minutes in, nearly level 10 for these squads, Rabbit, and we're still waiting on first blood.
Yeah, it's definitely been a low kill game so far. Not a lot of, big opportunities to fight over yet. This next Web Weaver phase, though, may give them that.
Well, here you go. Here's the APOC combo. Rabbit Squirrel's getting low, gets a couple of heals before the poly comes out there. So that's not gonna be first blood yet. There it is. Diablo goes down on the mid lane. Neo getting the first kill. Hook on to Brightwing, and Brightwing. What happened to Brightwing? Where'd Brightwing go, Rabbit?
I think she found the entirety of the Artemis team. Oh, and the boop on the Stitches is going to put him over the wall, but a nice pull from Anduin gets him out again.
Where do Brightwings go after they die? Nobody knows. Murder! We are going to see 7 coming down from the top side, trying to clean up here in the mid lane. Webweaver will go down, but the front wall still capped, and Hook just barely scraping through and not quite finding anybody on Fountain Snipers.
Like Diablo's kind of tired of getting his charge canceled, so he's been looking for the flip charge instead, but can't quite get close enough, it seems like.
Makes
Also
sense.
noticing now that we have a double ding for Raynor at levels 1 and 4, so we got full stack build so far coming out from him.
Well, there you go. Blue Web Weaver is going to come out as Artemis secures Cap down on the bot side.
Yeah, and this is one of the advantages that they have of having not lost anybody yet, is they have, you know, all their gems in their piggy bank, so to speak, and so they have that opportunity to get the double turn in, and now they have the Gust Gorge play as well. Nicely done.
Turns out it is Gust. Let's look at these level 10s. Mighty Gust along with the Hyperion, Light Bomb, Isolation, and the Gorge. And for Fountain Snipers, they've got the Apocalypse, Emerald Wind, Commandeer Odin, which you see right there, and Tomb. And once again, we've got Riptire coming out, so Fountain Sniper is going to be trying to get even more displacements with that big Riptire knockback.
Yeah, Emerald Wind you definitely don't see as often as the Blink Heal, I think, so it'll be interesting to see
More displacements.
how Fountain Snipers decide to use that. Especially with, you know, the stitches and the way that they're playing these team fights, I would expect having that mobility on the Blink Heal would be helpful, but I think this is definitely kind of the preferred Brightwing style that Fountain Snipers likes to play.
By the way, one of the ones we haven't mentioned yet, Rabid, is La Pico with that grenade, so even more ways to move people around.
Oh, another Gorge onto the Junkrat, and he gets...
Man, Light Bomb with the Gust, and they just die so fast. All that damage coming down all at once. It's ridiculous, Rabid. Give a guy a chance to breathe before you come out of that big stomach.
There's not really any question on who you need to right-click in that situation. A little easier to focus fire than your average team fight, I would imagine.
Yeah. They got plenty of time to just queue it right up. By the way, thanks for that cheer. I don't currently have my browser up, so I will properly give the thank you and the shout out after the match is over. But I hear you, I see you. Well, I don't see you, but I hear you, and I'll see you after the match.
Despite the kill count, though, Fountain Snipers is just barely behind an XP, so not really much of a differential to make up there.
Yeah, really, it's all in structure damage right now. 2 forts secured. Meanwhile, there's... Oh, Arco diving in after Neo. But after that pull, that kind of turned into a pseudo hook. And now the drag coming out on him. The Emerald Wind trying to save him. The TP going to heal him back up. And somehow Fountain Snipers keeps that Diablo alive into what could have been catastrophe for him.
Yeah, that was unfortunate timing with that Anduin pull. Diablo got yoinked all the way to their wall, and probably not where he wanted to end up. But a great engage onto the Falstad with the charge and APOC combo.
And there's the first kill of the game for the Fountain Snipers. Frustrated that they can no longer snipe the Fountains, they're going to go ahead and snipe the Falstad, because that's grammatically about as close as they can get.
Ooh, big yoink onto the Tychus, though, is going to put him behind the wall. Good pickup, kind of in the face of this oncoming objective. It should make defending a lot easier. They won't have to deal with the Odin sieging in behind the Web Weavers.
Up top, it looks like Silver Jackal going to be able to finish off the fort and really push that Web Weaver deep into the lane. It's going to spawn right on the top keep wall.
Yeah, well done.
Falstad going to run up there to...
No?
Yeah. Falstad going to clean that up, but still, they're going to get some front wall damage onto that keep. Down bot, we see the Entomb and the friendly hook coming out to save Dahaka.
Who needs Anduin pull when you have Stitches pull?
Right. I mean, it's from so much
lower
further.
too.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is a crazy movement game. The ways in which we've seen these heroes moving around is insane. Majesty trying to Wraith Walk out, but cannot quite get far out enough after that hook. Meanwhile, Emerald Wind gonna zone and allow the retreat. Both teams, by the way, still have enough gems for another turn-in.
Arco dumping 46, nobody in place to interrupt.
Over Jackal's got 13, and just like that, they need one more from Rusty. And that will be another Webweaver wave for the side of Fountain Snipers. They have Leo back up in 8. Should have him in time. The hook able to make its way through, and Fountain Snipers dodged that one, but it'll be back up soon.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Artemis didn't play that a little bit more aggressively with the pick on the Leo, but maybe they were just prioritizing getting their lanes pushed up a little bit and in a better position to defend the next objective.
Now there's the dive in from Arco. The Gust's
Great
going to
build.
come out to knock everybody back, give Artemis a little bit of breathing room to clear out the Webweaver here.
Yeah, the fort lives and Diablo's stuck inside of Stitches for now.
And there's the big damage coming in.
Luckily,
second
double
there.
gems though, so not a whole lot lost there. Diablo comes
Yeah.
back as well, just with less souls.
Yeah, so he'll be a little more squishy. He walks back into the lane. About a level lead right now for the side of Artemis. Going to continue getting this XP. Getting closer to 20 here as these lanes keep pushing in. But for right now, Fountain Sniper is going to go ahead and take mid. And just like that, that's one less Fountain over on the side of Artemis.
Fountain sniped.
One way or another, they're going to get those Fountains.
Double camp play as well now coming out from Fountain Snipers, while the blue web weavers start loading into the lanes.
As soon as that popped, Artemis did see the double play, and now honestly trying to get the hook, but the camp had already spawned. Now we see the pull having to come out in response to that entomb, and the Riptire actually being trolled a little bit, stuck in that entomb. Gonna go and clear the wave here in mid. Funny interaction that I imagine it could probably have jumped over the walls, but meanwhile Falstad caught out a little bit here. He's gonna barrel roll into the Gust, and only Lampico manages to avoid that. So nice disengage from 7.
Good disengage would kind of given the position of the lanes and then also those double camps. It looks like Artemis is not able to really convert that objective into a whole lot of value other than just kind of stabilizing the lane state and getting their lanes pushed more to kind of the middle of the map or a little bit further on the side of Fountain Snipers.
Odin gonna be popped here along with the Hyperion on the other side, honestly tanking this bottom fort, but it'll go down quick enough, and looks like he's positioning for a hook, not quite able to find anything. Level 20s are in for Artemis, and they are pushing down the bottom lane. Their Webweaver will go down, but that's a big old Odin inside that Stitch's belly. The stun comes out, follow-up is good, and despite the APOC engage, big, actually the Gust comes out, interrupts Silver Jackal while he's trying to get a big Riptire there. Majesty a little bit low up on the top side. Emerald Wind comes out. Honestly, going to get polyed after being just ragdolled around here by Arco. And for now, it's going to stay a 1-for-1. But Fountain Sniper still on the chase. But Rabid Squirrel saying, no, enough is enough. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, that was a great isolation onto the Tychus, and then excellent counter engage from the Diablo to pick up the Rainer kill immediately after and kind of stabilize the team fight for Fountain Snipers.
Everybody hating on the StarCraft assassins all of a sudden.
Yeah. I guess we only have one Overwatch hero in the game, so maybe that's a little harder. But
You know, it's all about
Doing
WoW.
getting engaged on, gets the hook from Stitches and is pulled out himself.
It's just looking for the hook, finds Majesty. In comes the Swallow, gonna spit him out on the other side of this keep. He is able to Wraith Walk, but doesn't make it very far, and that'll be another pick on the Leo. Riptire coming out, not quite finding what he was looking for with that one.
We don't have the level 20 Riptire, so there isn't the cooldown reduction that we sometimes see with that at level 20, where the more enemy heroes you hit with it, you can sometimes get an instant reset and multiple Riptires within a single team fight. Opting into the Cannonball for the increased radius and explosion damage from the grenades.
Artemis gonna go ahead and grab the bot. They saw the rotation down bot from Fountain Snipers, and them being down the Leo certainly doesn't help with that that engage potential. So they'll get themselves a free boss up in the top lane.
Fountain Sniper's doing a good job, though, of keeping the lanes pushed and at least in the middle, if not closer towards Artemis's side of the map. So harder for them to siege in when they do have advantages like this, since they're pretty much limited to just the boss as a resource while they're waiting for their minion waves to catch up.
Wow, look at that big damage coming in. Concussion Mine coming out. Honestly, still at about half health. Riptire gonna come out, but gets deleted by the boss.
That boss says not today.
Get that tire out of here.
You shall not pass.
Odin utilized, but boss is taken down and keeps still a little over half health.
Twitch chat helpfully highlighting that Leoric is played by Mosley and not Majesty. So we'll make sure we get that
Yes.
correct going forward.
Mosley, thank you. Sorry, I've seen Majesty so many times that I really need to get my eyes checked.
Fill in the blanks.
Yeah. It's been a long week. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost Friday.
Yep.
Certain parts of the world, it is Friday.
Well, use the Gust to disengage off of that, along with the pull from Anduin. You should still have one left, though. Diablo only used his Hellgate as well for that, so he still has APOC available if needed.
Well, that was the short interrupt on Emerald Wind. Rusty trying to live, gets the Emerald Wind off coming out of that, and it's only Raynor that's going to die in that situation. Ashcan trying to go in to get that kill onto Rusty, but now is on the run as the second Emerald Wind came out. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, the Webweaver has gotten onto the top keep. Rusty going to go ahead and hit the back button, but that'll be the first keep of the game going down on the top side. So Artemis not finding the kill, even losing a member, but they're getting some macro pressure here.
Yeah, space created. Probably not the worst thing in the world. It's always hard to siege into a Junkrat and Tychus with the Odin. Losing the Raynor but getting that keep is still a pretty big advantage now that they have that win condition on the top side.
Honestly, getting flipped there, down to about half health, but hits the hook onto the Junkrat, but ends up swallowing the Diablo. Meanwhile, big gust. Junkrat's going to end up falling, but they get to Haka on the backside of that. 1-for-1. Arco super low, trying to stand in here as Neo comes in with the Hyperion. Majesty going to have to rake walk away, and for now it's another 1-for-1 Rabid. What is with these exchanges? These teams seem pretty evenly matched here in this game number 2.
Well, I think it is also important to highlight that Raynor essentially was not present in that team fight, so that was a 4v5 that Artemis managed to trade evenly with. So well done, I think, on their part.
Yeah, double camp play from Artemis.
Stitches is scouting out Fountain Sniper's side of the map, keeping these waves pushed up as well. Looks like they're prepping them as best they can, although they're a long way from the next turn-in, so objective probably not coming anytime soon. Boss will be up in about a minute, and Junkrat is respawning shortly here. So just kind of fishing for the Stitches hooks, I think, and maybe soft pressuring some of these buildings. Maybe throwing a Hyperion when that's back up, or letting Dahaka create some pressure kind of in some of the other lanes.
Oh, that hook. So close. Majesty gonna, or sorry, Mosley. There we go again. Mosley, Wraith walking away from that one in the mid.
And we do have the Silence Entomb at level 20 for Leoric, buried alive, so definitely a lot scarier now for anyone who gets stuck inside that, although ideally Anduin won't be the one getting stuck inside, so he should still be able to pull whoever it is to safety. Big Silence Entomb though on 2 members. Stitches gets isolated, and the Gust will be used to disengage that team.
Wow, Rabid. Did you see the response to that hook and gorge on Brightwing? Immediately, Arco hitting the go button, charges in, flips him, charges him back. Silver Jackal hits the concussion mine, and before Brightwing had come out, Rusty was back in the middle of the team healing everybody.
Yeah, that was a great response from Fountain Snipers, and that's exactly what you have to do. You know, Stitches just kind of walks up and grabs one of your team members. You know, if you're the tank, it's your job to do what you can to prevent him from getting away with your team member and getting them further isolated. So, and then the Junkrat combination with that was particularly effective, but well done on Arco to respond quickly to that situation.
Yeah, I used to play Uther with Divine Storm into the Stitches, and I'd be like, let him hook me and let him gorge me. Just follow me in. It's fine. I'm right where I want to be. Yeah, exactly. Boss is taken up on the top side by Fountain Snipers, though. They get this top keep, and now they are looking to end this series, making an early night for everybody as they are pushing in with this boss. Big damage coming out onto Arco. He charges in and gets the TP. Emerald Wind to try to zone the damage dealers up on the top side, but there is the Gust and that Wind Tunnel trying to give him some room to take the boss down. Boss gets one big final chunk and actually gets the stun onto Falstad, and that's going to be enough. Game number 2 and the series going over to Fountain Snipers.
Well played.
That was a rather abrupt end to a rather long game there in Game 2, Rabbit.
Well, I mean, the boss was definitely pretty threatening, and especially with the Junkrat and the Tychus kind of backing it up. But you know, without Mighty Gust being able to affect the boss too, I think they were kind of in a rough situation there. With the bots sort of marching down on their core. I think they had to find something maybe on the skirmish at that top keep, maybe get a kill or two on particularly one of the back line for Fountain Snipers, but fighting on their core I think is definitely a losing proposition with that boss and kind of how late the game was.
Agreed. All right, well, let's reach out to the team captain, Fountain Snipers, to see if we can get an interview going. I'm going to go ahead and hop into an NGS lobby here to set this up. If you would like to join me.
Sure, I'll hop on over.
All right, Arco is sending the troops to Lobby 2, is what I'm being told.
Uh-oh.
I know. They're coming for us. Well, hello, gentlemen.
Hello, hello.
Oh,
Well, I got to start off tonight with an apology. Mosley, I owe you an apology. I was calling you Majesty
Lovely.
most of the night.
it's mostly. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I apologize. I need to get my eyes checked. I was calling you Majesty a lot of the night.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Hey, I like that. Maybe I'll change my name.
No, there's already a Majesty at NGS.
Yep,
we
there
don't need
is.
more than one.
Majesty
That's
Mosley.
That's just confusing. But congratulations, guys. Very well done. Really, really awesome series for you guys. And I know from personal experience from last week, you guys already making a big splash here in C West to get the season started.
Yeah, it's been going good for so far.
You are
Trying to
a
keep it that
raider.
way, hopefully.
Legendary.
Wow, Alicia wins with the big raid. Holy cow, thank you. Welcome, everybody. You've made it in just in time for the big interview here at the end of our NGS C West series. Got members of the Fountain Snipers in here with us.
They came just for Majesty here. Majesty Mosley.
That's
That's right. I mean, what else do you need, really? What else do you need?
nothing. The offlaner never gets looked at, so you can just talk all that.
Well, Rabbit, no pressure, but you usually run the interviews on these, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that rolling. So no pressure, but you got the most people watching you do this interview than ever before. Go ahead.
No pressure.
All right, let's do it. We normally don't have, I think, 3 people or more in the interview, so I'll try to have a little bit of a question for each of you.
There you
One
go.
of the things I wanted to ask about was in the second game, you drafted the Brightwing, and one of the things you like to play is that Emerald Wind at level 10 and level 20. I was just curious if you can maybe elaborate on that talent choice, kind of why you like that ability so much. Some people might argue that, especially in that game, the extra mobility from the Blink Heal could have been really helpful to escape if you got gorged or to dodge hooks or that kind of thing. What are your thoughts on that?
I think most people would argue that, and I always get a lot of crap for taking Emerald Wind. But I like it a lot because it's just a big old fat stun against the enemy team. So it's a disengage and it's a stun. And I know Blink Heal can save Brightwing's bacon quite a bit, but Emerald Wind can do it too if you're lucky. Not as often, but I don't know. I just really like it. Always liked it. Always got in lots of trouble for it. Stick to my guns though and keep taking it, and sometimes do Blink Heal. But yeah, I know. For anyone giving me trouble, I know.
No, that's okay. I respect that. I think that's a great answer. I think a lot of talent choices and even heroic choices come down to play style. And if your play style is I want to be more of a playmaker or just have a different ability in my toolkit when I play this hero, I think that's great.
Yeah. One last thing is I think that Blink Heal can save Brightwing, but Emerald Wind can save the whole team. That's another reason.
Nice.
Wow, I never
Yeah,
thought of it that way. Nice.
especially the level 20 when you get to use it like constantly.
Yeah. Thanks, that
Silver
was a great
Zacko, I
question,
wanted
Pete.
to. Yeah, you're welcome. I wanted to talk about your Junkrat games as well, because in our series against you, I elected to ban that, I think, in all 3 games. So you got to play it twice here today. Were you surprised that they let you have the Junkrat, or is that typically something that you like to play, or is it just kind of more map dependent, sort of where
Yeah.
to fit into your toolkit?
I like to play it last half of last season and beginning of this season so far. Chromie Junkrat always been banned, so I'm not going to complain.
That's fair. It looked really good. A lot of great displacements. Game 1, you had a key displacement on the very end, pretty early game to knock him into your base. And then
Yeah.
Game 2, at the end there, Jay and I had kind of noted with that Stitches Gorge, Arco grabbed him, flipped him, and then you were able to knock him further back into the rest of your team. And so that was kind of a nice save on, I think it was Brightwing who got gorged that play.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, he's a fun hero. He's very annoying to play against, but he's fun to play.
Yeah, no disagreements here. Probably one of the more frustrating heroes to play into as almost any tank. with all his CC and scouting and just general damage can be pretty rough.
Mm.
Mosley for the Leoric, I think your builds were pretty similar between the two games. Do you generally go auto attack builds? Is that kind of your preferred option, or do you tend to kind of flex around with some of his other 13-16 builds as well?
I'll flex around some. I think the kind of the default's the auto attack. I do a lot of the, as Arca said, some of the gods work just running around getting XP. Just
Yep.
And so, especially as we get into that level 16, you can just start wailing on a tank with those fast hits, and so that's kind of the default. I definitely flex into some of the other ones depending on what's needed, but
Okay.
being an off lane, it seems like it's a pretty good one to do.
Yeah, I like it a lot myself. It helps you trade pretty well into just about any hero in the game. There's a couple that you probably can still win in a trade against you, but once you get that 16 talent, especially with the quest completed out, pretty much any tank or bruiser are going to have a rough day if they have to sit in a sustained team fight against you.
Yeah.
Game 1, I did notice that you took the increased range on Q at level 4. Was that a particular talent deviation, or do you frequently take that? Were you kind of expecting to have bigger team fights that game versus like the slow in game 2?
It's really kind of a versus Malthael kind of thing. Just being able to land that from farther away so that you can come in and hit me.
Okay, so more of like a defensive choice versus like trying to keep him closer to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, one of the questions I had too was just kind of in regards to your approach to game number 2, especially early game with like a lot of the hooks coming in and some of the isolation that they were able to do around level 10. Were you guys worried at all about sort of how some of those early team fights were going, or what was kind of your mentality game 2 with how to deal with that isolation comp?
Well, when it worked, it sure worked, but I think we were lucky that we didn't take a lot of hooks. We got lucky, I think. But when he did get us, he got us real bad.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I mean, that the hook gorge light bomb combo is pretty tough.
Yeah, I don't know that we had any real counters. We did with APOC. I know I got saved by APOC a couple of times, and
But that
geez,
damn
that was about it.
We
Gust.
had APOC. I tried to use Entomb as a defensive, to split their team.
True.
And that kind
Yep.
of thing happened as well.
Yeah, so
it seemed like you were pretty good.
scrambling and panicking.
Your team seemed to be pretty good about like just noticing that somebody got hooked and then everybody kind of instantly doing what they could damage control the situation. So like you were saying, using Entomb to maybe split up the team a little bit, or the APOC charge combos to try to save someone or sort of cause further chaos, and then certainly the Emerald Wind to split the team, the Junkrat damage coming in. So it seemed like you were pretty on top of at least responding to the hooks when they did land.
Yeah, we tried.
Now it's the whole plan is don't get hooked. And if you do, well, we'll see what you can do.
We'll see in a minute.
Yeah, that's usually my word of advice for my team when we're facing a Stitches is don't get hooked.
And that's when you get hooked the most, is when you say that.
That's true.
Don't get hooked. Oh, no.
Yeah, a few
Jay, weren't
seasons
you
ago, I was
complaining
known as
about
the.
magnets or something recently?
Yeah. No. For me personally, it's that I can't avoid Asmo dunks.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
The worst is when you see a hook coming from beginning to end, and you know it's gonna get you, and all you can do is just scream, "No!" Oh, and then it gets you. That sucks.
Those are rough. The one that makes me feel even worse is like I'm telling my brain I need to not get hit by this, and my brain still like makes my character move in the direction of where the hook is going, and then naturally gets hooked.
Yeah, there's a few seasons ago, I was known as the hook magnet. Any hook out, you can throw it from halfway across the map, and somehow I'll find it.
That's when they just got to move you to tank and give you a character that it doesn't matter if you get hooked.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for coming in for the interview afterwards. Congrats on the big win tonight. But before we let you go, definitely want to roll out the red carpet for you and give you some opportunity for some shout outs.
Yeah, I'll start as normal. Shout out to you guys for casting. We always appreciate it. It always makes the games more fun. Um, Shout out to NGS for setting this whole thing up so we're not stuck playing Quick Match in Storm League.
Right?
Shout out to Artemis. It was definitely some fun, sweaty matches. And shout out to my team for keeping it together and only screaming half the time. Pass it on to you guys.
Yeah, I'll go next. Just thanks to any family and friends watching. Makes it a lot more fun. And thanks to Artemis, because those are some very tight, very good games. And yeah, thanks to you guys for casting. Appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I think that'll be good for now. Mosley.
Yeah, sounds good. Shout out to Hemo. He's watching, I know. I don't know who anybody else is and I know out there, but that's it. Just thanks a lot. Had fun. Loving it. Go NGS.
All right, well, we'll let you guys get back to your teammates to celebrate your big win. Congrats again, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how you guys do later in the season. I think we got another one on the books with you sometime down the road, so we'll be
good.
seeing
Thanks,
you
bud.
around.
Thank you.
Latest.
Bye.
Like,
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Rabid, thanks again for joining me. Got anything else to add or any shout-outs you want to make before we sunset this cast?
I don't think so. It was another fun one. Good back and forth, especially that last game there. Kind of had us guessing down to the end as to who's going to take that one home. So.
Yeah, I thought we might have had a game 3 in store, but big shout out to Fountain Snipers for getting that last engage, getting the boss, and taking it home. And definitely want to give a big shout out to Alicia Wins. Thank you very much for the raid. If I was the kind of streamer that actually streamed actual playing video games, I would continue on with this big audience, but I'd rather just pass it off to somebody who does that sort of thing. So I'm actually going to raid over to my good friend Emmy and keep it in the Heroes of the Storm family. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that follow button and come back for some more Nexus Gaming Series action. And until next time for the Nexus Gaming Series, I am Jayzon, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.